What's good, YouTube? This is Brown Brother coming to you with another video. If you watched my last video, you know I kind of went off, and rightfully so. I think you have to. And to kind of follow that video up, I thought it'd be very appropriate to do a video entitled, "What are you passionate about?" or "What drives you?" What I mean by what are you passionate about, what drives you, is what is the consistency in your life that makes you want to get up every morning. I guess the logical, the popular, but also the very sad answer to most people, to that question for most people would be, why, if you don't work, you don't eat. So I get up every morning so I can eat and have gas or electricity or insurance or whatever the necessities cause, clothing to put on my back. That would be the necessity. But in addition to what drives you to get up every morning to go to a job or to be an entrepreneur or whatever cause you be, and not even trying to get into that, because if you want to know a little bit about my opinion about working for someone versus entrepreneurship, you can go watch my owner or consumer video. But I digress on that one. I asked the question, what drives you? What are you passionate about? For me personally, I'm passionate about helping other young African American males. Black men are disproportionately targeted more than anybody. I believe I'm saying that word correctly. I'm using it in the right context. I pray so. But in other words, black males are attacked more than any other group of people. Black males are seen as numerous things for whichever ideological basis or foundation in which an individual sees fit to use them. I've seen people call black men the utmost trash. I've seen people call black men hateful. I've seen people call black men this and that, lazy, which is all the negative, false stereotypes, caricatures to try to destroy our self-esteem, to try to make us conform to the things that they want us to conform with, and use propaganda to emasculate us. I thought I was going to do something to go more in detail with it, but I've just tried to write what comes from my heart, and it's just not coming on paper. But maybe I try to explain that a little bit further. But what drives me is just seeing how many African American males are out there. Some with fathers, some without. Some short, some tall. Some with bright futures and instant charisma. Those who come from tragic situations and who need somebody to not give them a hand out, but a hand up, or at the very least, help open their eyes to see a bright future. So what drives me and was passion to me, is being able to help young African American males. I'm gonna do a science and astrology type. Well, I'm just gonna, like, I don't, when people say astrology in the black community or just in any community, instantly, if you've kind of been taught a specific mindset, you instantly want to back away from, like, what are you talking about? But I mean astrology as in, I want to tell you the basis. Matter of fact, how about we do this now? Let's do it now. Big Sean said something inside of a song that was so amazing, and I have to touch on it. He said, praying to a sky all black, looking at the stars like they finna talk back, or looking at the stars like they finna talk back. He said something inside the context. Go listen to the song that Big Sean did called Beware with Janae Aiko and Lil Wayne. And I believe that it was such a amazing line that he used. But even in the basis of that, I learned that life is not what it seems. That when you walk outside, if you live inside of a urban city like I do, or you live in just inside of a city period or a state period, where you don't have many open areas and it's basically hustle and bustle city life, big buildings and so forth and so on, you don't get the opportunity to see the sky in its true form. So those who grow up not knowing the knowledge and the basis behind something will forever internally be blind to it. So when you see the sky looks all black, and that's what you think the sky looks like. But actually, the sky that you see currently, if you live inside of a metropolitan city, unless you live kind of like in a country or rural area or area that's just been untouched by light, you see the world. If you live in an urban city, or when I say urban, I mean just a major city, you see the sky as you know it because as a result of light pollution. Light pollution is a pollution or the negative effect of having artificial lighting. And basically, artificial lighting has now attacked the sky, and you see the sky in its untrue state, and you see falsehood in the sky. So most people grow up with God, grow up listening to preachers talk about God, but have no physical imagination of what He is. God created the universe and He created man, but He created everything, or the universal God created everything in His likeness. So if you grow up in an area where you don't see butterflies, you don't see fish in the lake, you don't see, like my boy, what's his name, Kevin, whoever he feeding the deers, if you don't see deers, if you don't see the representation or the beauty of the creation of something that was created, you have a falsehood about what life is truly about. So if you grow up and you see and you learn that when you see God, you don't point down, but you point up, you don't see the most mystical and magical thing that He created, which is the unknown or foretold or the unseen realities of the sky. If you go back and look at the Native Americans, you will see that they worshipped and they looked up in the sky, that they had deities, but at the same time that they saw representation of the sky. If you know anything about Egyptian religion, you will see they worship Re, which is the sky. Even though it's a variation, all the religions point up to the sky. I believe it was I want to say the correct name, and this is gonna piss me off that I know everybody else's culture, but I can even point my own flaws at. But the Dagon people, who was Benjamin Banneker's ancestors. If don't know who Benjamin Banneker is, definitely go look that dude up. He was great, like he was a great mind, probably one of the greatest minds ever walked the face of the earth. But the Dagon people were great astrologers, and they knew about the sky. They didn't need no fancy um, um, telescope or microscope, whatever you call it, to look at the sky. They knew the sky. The wise men, if you want to look at the Christian doctrine, followed the stars in the sky to find supposed to find the Messiah, which is Jesus, the Christ, whatever you may call him. So I say all this to say this: the sky had a big portion, but when young brothers grow up and see life for what it is, and don't get the opportunity to see the sky in its full um, um, greatness in which God, the universal God, intended for it to see, you get a not full picture of what life is about. That's like you're able to see the lower sixth energy, but you're not able to see the ninth ether, higher thoughts and process. So you're able to see, I believe it say, as so below, as so above. You're able to see below and the chaos below or in the earth, but you're not able to look up and see something that's greater than you. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So brothers grow up not seeing that. It's almost like not having both parents in the household. You grow up seeing the masculine energy but not the feminine energy. Or most popular, you grow up seeing the feminine energy but not getting a clear direction of what the masculine energy is. And you have those who did not get the chance to see the masculine energy growing up without that benefit. So they falsely find ideas of what manhood is. I'm tying it all back. You see how I'm beautifully tying it all back. Like I'm finding inner peace as I make this video because I have to get my mind off certain situations. But you see I'm all tying it back into my passion. So we have a bunch of young men who who falsely are understanding at times what manhood is. You have a great amount of young men who are finding it and finding their inner peace. But we also have those who don't. And even when one slips through the net, that's a crying shame for me. Because just like I'm only one human being who they say the average American male on the list be 72 years old, but a big chunk of my life is already gone. A big percentage of my life is already gone. So I'm just a glimpse of the imagination. I'm just a glimpse of the universe. If I go, I'm just like a string of hair in my head. You're not gonna miss one string. I'm gone. There's no. I'm done with. So to me, I find happiness in trying to make sure that no brother slips up under the net. Because just like I can slip and pass away and nobody will remember me, other than the accomplishment that I made, if that brother goes through life even without doing the things that I got the chance to do, that's a crying shame. Not saying that I'm perfect, but you understand where I'm coming from. So I want to show each and every brother the opportunity of knowledge. And I'll leave you with this. You may say, well, we need to leave it with some comedic teachings. Well, the Greeks basically took every every great person or people took civilization or Western civilization took all the knowledge from the Egyptians. There were no such thing. The Egyptians hieroglyphics, if you read later term, the only reason why they were able to crack the Rosetta Stone was because the Egyptians wrote, I believe, a talisman or something in Greek. So every basis of knowledge came from the Egyptians or the descendants of the Egyptians and the Nubians or whoever was around. It came from out of Africa. Let's just put it like that. Let's settle the debate. Some people are pro this and pro that, even within the Egyptian and conscious community. Let's just settle this. All knowledge came from Africa. Even if you look at and a beautiful sister told me what it was. I forgot. She actually told me the name of what it was. Oh my God. What the earth was one thing. She called it, it's such a short name for it. I'm gonna leave it in the description box below. She called it uh Ogana. What she call it? She called it something. I'm mispronouncing it so bad, but she called it something. I can't think of the name of it specifically. But I move forward. But this is what I want. This is my passion. This is what leads me to. And this was basically taken from Egyptian teachings of what I understand. Pluto's allegory of the cave. If you never read it, definitely go check it out. I know I probably lost a couple of you. Probably not a lot of you stayed to the end. If you stayed to the end, comment the word true, TRUE. And so put that in the comment section below. If you stayed to the very end of the video, type the word true. Anyway, Pluto's allegory of the cave. Some people say Plato, whichever one you pronounce it. And it was very simple. Plato said, I believe it's pronounced Plato. I don't know why I said Pluto, but Plato. I'm getting a little tired. But Pluto allegory of the cave was this. It was men caged up in a cage. I have the blog post where I actually legitimately posted it. But Plato's allegory of the cave believes something like this: is men chained up, they're in bondage, they're in prison. That sounds like slavery, does it not? Slavery of the mind, slavery of the spirit, but physical slavery. And Plato said that the men, because they were in the cage so long in not only physical bondage but mental and spiritual bondage, they began to take the shadows dancing in the cave as actual form of life. They saw a falsehood of life because that's all they saw were dancing in the shadows. Whether it be guards in the background, whether it be maybe there's a little tiny crack where they could see some people making footsteps above them, or because most prisons back in the day, like back in those times, were built up under the ground, and they had little vents where you could go see the people walking through the market. But anyway, the prisoners began to see those figures of those people walking as true life form, and they began to give those shadows on the wall actual names and actual state of beings, and they saw them as false life forms. But Plato's allegory of the cave basically saying that when they're able to escape or break out of bondage or break out of prison, or when their sentence is up, their eyes were removed and the blindness were removed, and they were able to see the shadows as being false life forms. That the shadow was a cause or the effect of having somebody actually walk by. So the things that they gave names to, and their current state of mind and the state that they saw was false. That the cave, that the cage, that the shadows danced on the wall, that the fire that gave them a little light to see was not the true state or the full grasp of what life was. That it was actually things different and greater, and there was actually experiences and emotions and events and things to actually get a fullness of what life was truly about. So that when they came out of the cage and the imprisonment of the mind, their eyes, their third eye, or whatever ideology or whatever idea you want to replace with that, their spirit, their mental state, and their current physical third eye was open to actually see the world and to see that the shadows that which they saw were fake. So that's my passion. And that's basically how I can explain myself. I want to be that light. I want to be the guy to show the shadows on the wall are fake. As you pray to a sky that's all black, the sky is not all black. It's illuminated with beautiful bright stars, with images, with life, with life. Because we're energy. If our body and our soul, whatever it may be, is made of energy, and stars are made of energy, if melanin compound can be found all over the world, if whatever it may be, if the sun is gives us energy, then that is what the universe is made of, or we all are part of the universe. So you are able to show them that you're just not praying to not black as in black, but I mean black as in bleak, empty. You're not praying to anything, or you're just not seeing the world as empty. That there are worlds and things even above us and beyond us and greater than us out there. You just have to hold fast, be steadfast, and believe in your heart that you are special and that you were put here for a reason. And I believe if we get the chance to see the sky in its true form, if we begin to get out of the cage and see the world in its true form, then brothers will have some a little bit more hope than what the government and the propaganda has set for us by constructing this jungle they call the ghetto, which is not true, which is no such thing. But they constructed this place that with limited resources to try to make us kill each other and try to bring about the genocide. J. Cole said it best. He said, when I think about the genocide, tears fill my eyes, dog, because I've been out of touch, man, for way too long. I've been chasing the paper for way too long. And all of those things he said inside the song, I believe, were cause and what's it called? Knock the hustle, don't knock the hustle. And it was such amazing. Because again, it all goes back to we being blinded by this thing. But when we're actually able to escape and see the world for what it is, or the matrix, or this constructed chess game, or this little toy that they tried to build to try to destroy us, we'll see a world greater than us. So that's my passion, is to help young black males. And maybe I may not be able to lace them with the best clothes ever. Maybe I may not be able to, if it's cold outside, to pay all the heat bills, or to be a father figure, or come inside the household and I wouldn't say be a stepfather. That sounds kind of weird, but how can I put this? Be that father figure that they never had. I can't stretch myself that thin where I can be in 30 different cities at the same time. I would love to do after school programs or programs and be at each and every one of them at the same time. I wish I was the Flash. I wish I could do that, but I'm not. So at the very least, maybe through online teaching, maybe through books, pamphlets, summits, I can show them and open their eyes, and they will see things, and that maybe they can have us as a couple of examples. Some other brothers doing some great things out there, including the brother I believe is called Adulam Cave. I don't know if you've seen the video. It went viral on Facebook. Probably over 5 million views on there. But there's a lot of people doing some great things. But that's my passion. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish when I do this channel. I do the videos on the young black males. I do on the living. I do on there. I do it on trends. I do it on news stories. I give tips, and I'm going to do a lot more tips coming very soon. But I will do each and everything that I can with the basis of trying to help a young brother and trying to make his journey through life, manhood, not as hard as mine. Not saying it was terrible, but just, what do you call it? For each and every one of you can go back and extend a hand and be in that brotherhood, so that I can see down the road a little bit. And even as I have my face forward and you have your face forward, you're able to help the next, and we can make a human, chain and all be connected. But at the same time, we all got each other back, because as I'm moving forward, you got my back, and as you're moving forward, someone has your back, and we all able to see all around us. But that's my passion. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what drives me every day, is to change the allegory, to take the allegory of the cave and to take the blinders off, and to let people see what life is truly about, to understand some point of what the essence is of what life is, and that maybe as they understand it, they will get a sense of what it is, and we will all come together on some kind of form and be united. But this is the Brown Brother coming to you. I appreciate, like I said, when you stay to the end of the video, put true, or just to definitely test you and make sure you stay to the end of the video. How about this? Let's do the word brotherhood, or just brother or brotherhood. BROTHERHOOD. Brotherhood, as I know you say at the end of the video. But peace and many blessings always is the Brown Brother.